Welcome back to another episode of the Roar Rundown.
It was another exciting week for sports here at Ouachita.
The women's cross country team will travel to Suwanee, Tennessee this weekend to compete in the Suwanee Invitational. Izzy Baughn met up with Coach Steve Guymon to see how he's feeling so far about his first season here at Ouachita.
Thank you, Josh. Well, today I'm here with Coach Steve Guymon, the head coach of Lady Tiger cross country team, and this is his first year at Ouachita. So we're going to sit down and get to know him and the goals he has for the program. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Coach Guymon, a lot of people don't know this, but the cross country team has its own course right here at home. So tell us about some of the additions you've made to the course, what those mean to you, and what they mean to the team.
Well, when I took the job, obviously we don't have a track, but we do have a really nice cross-country course. In fact, some of the teams I've coached in the past, we've run here. So when I took over, the Great American Conference asked me to host the conference championship. So I wanted to make it really a special place for athletes, for the teams coming in, the coaches, and also for our team. So we've added a few signs throughout the course, we've named them. We've got a Snake Alley area, we've got a heat stroke lane, we have a Tiger Mountain, just different things. Make it a little more fun and try to decorate it a little bit so hopefully the team will be proud of it.
Absolutely. Well, when we're running through there, I can tell you that it's a little bit more motivating to look at the signs. Well, speaking of the course, we are hosting the conference meet, like you just said, with a finish in the top 5 at the Bob Gravitt Invitational and a 4th place overall finish. How do you feel going into not only conference meets coming up, but the next meet at Suwanee?
Well, I think every week we're improving. I tell you, I told the girls when I first took over this team, they're a team I'm always going to remember. I mean, they're helping me try to build a program, and the commitment they've had, the dedication, the challenge that they've taken on, just like I have. I've been very impressed. I think last week with Emerson placing the top 4. She ran a tremendous race. In fact, the girl that got athlete or runner of the week for the GAC this week, that girl just beat her by 3 seconds. So she's doing a fantastic job. The team behind her is really improving each week. Jory had a PR of a minute and a half on that course, and so I'm really proud of them. Our goal is to finish better than what we did last year. I think they're 9th or 10th last year, and I think if they keep improving, it'd be really nice to get at least in the top 6 and see how we can do from there and go from there.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, this is your first season at Ouachita, but not your first season in the coaching gig. You have had a very successful career, and so we're very excited to have you here at Ouachita. But you just talked about goals that you have for the team. With that being said, what do you feel like are some goals over the next few years that you have? Because you've already doubled the team just being here for one season. So what do you foresee in the future for the Tigers?
Well, I hope our team continues to grow as far as numbers. I'd like to have about 20 to 25 next year on the team, but my ultimate goal is probably in the next few years is I'd like to contend for a conference title. And I want to do it the right way. I think the girls, we're very young. We've got a young team, and I think, in a few years we get some recruits in here, and I think we will have a shot. I'm very honored to be here, and the thing is, I talk about that, but they're the ones that run, and they're the ones that win the titles. They're the ones that do win the championships or improve and I'm really impressed with this group, and I'm looking forward to having many, many more just like them.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for sitting down with us. This is Coach Guymon, the head coach of the cross country team. Back to you, Josh. Good luck and go Tigers.
This past Tuesday, the volleyball team defeated Southern Arkansas University with a score of 3-1. Over the weekend, it competed in the Harding Invitational in Searcy, Arkansas. The team had a 3-2 victory over Christian Brothers University, but lost 3-0 against Rockhurst University and 3-1 against Missouri S&T. The volleyball team will play against the University of Arkansas at Monticello in Monticello on September 24th and will return home to play against Harding University on September 26th at 6 p.m.
The men and women's swim teams competed in their first meet this weekend. The men lost to Loyola University 155-100, while the women defeated Loyola with a score of 148-111. We sent Henry Hunley to talk with Coach Stephen Bostick about the team heading into the season.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Here we have Coach Bostick, the swim coach, and recently we had a mock meet, Coach Bostick. How did that go, and were there any standouts?
It went really well. The big important thing was we won because we swam ourselves, so super excited about that. We had a lot of standouts. We have a lot of freshmen this year, so I really don't think there's one person in particular that stood out. I think everybody came ready to swim. We're super excited about going into our next meet.
Awesome. So 20 out of our 43 swimmers are freshmen. How does a freshman-led team impact the season?
I wouldn't say. I would say we have more freshmen. I wouldn't say we're freshman led. I've got quite a few seniors, juniors, sophomores, all the returners really stepping up. So I think they just set the tone. And the freshmen are going to have to step up and practice every day. That's really what it's about. It's about consistency day in and day out in the pool. Our sport's probably the biggest grind on campus. So I think they're going to be fine. But it'll probably be our upperclassmen leading them to victory.
Thanks, Coach Bostick. Back to you.
The swim teams will have an alumni meet at 9 a.m. on October 5th.
The Ouachita football team had another victory this weekend against the Rangers of Northwestern Oklahoma State University. The team won with a score of 31-11. The Tigers will face off against Southwestern Oklahoma State University at 2:00 p.m. on Saturday in Weatherford, Oklahoma.
The women's soccer team ended their match against Delta State University in a 1-1 tie and lost 1-0 to Christian Brothers University. The team will play against Harding University in Searcy, Arkansas at 7 p.m. on September 27th.
This past week, the men's soccer team defeated Southern Nazarene University 1-0 and lost 1-0 against Oklahoma Baptist University. The team will play at home against Fort Hays State University at 4 p.m. on September 26th and against Newman University at 2 p.m. on September 28th.
Ouachita has added several new members to their athletic staff, but Chris Babb is a new addition to the communication staff. We sent Blythe Epp to talk with him about his role as the director of the Ouachita Sports Digital Network and the head of the sports media program.
I'm here with communication professor Chris Babb here at Ouachita. Chris, can you tell us a little bit about why you came back to Ouachita?
Yeah, Blythe, I graduated from here in 1999, worked here for 10 years. I was a mass communications major at Ouachita at the time. Graduated from Ouachita with a mass communications degree and really have always enjoyed the mass communications world, especially sports media. Dr. Jeff Root talked to me about a position that was coming open. I was fortunate enough to get it, so I'm glad to be back here and in a different role than I was the previous 10 years, but glad to be back and be able to work with students.
Ouachita is a great place. So you're the founder of the Digital Sports Network here at Ouachita. Can you tell us a little bit about your roles when you're doing that?
Yeah, the Ouachita Sports Digital Network is basically a project of the student production of the Rogers Department of Communications at Ouachita, where our students will have for many years. I was involved in this 20 years ago. It just didn't have an official name. So we've always had students who are getting practical experience, but this is kind of a formal way that we can kind of brand what we're doing and hopefully be a recruiting tool for high school students who want to go into sports media and work with students as far as the production end of live events, studio events, podcast writing, but also some of the performance ends like interviewing and also doing play-by-play broadcasting as well for all sports.
So what was the main reason you pursued this network?
This was one of the visions of Dr. Jeff Root, Dr. Deborah Root, and Dr. Sells at Ouachita. Part of the 6 emphases in the communications and media major at Ouachita, one of those is sports media. And they really wanted to enhance our efforts in that area, and I was glad to be able to come back and help out with that.
So what new sports is the digital network broadcasting this year?
Well, we've traditionally worked with a lot of the sports. Last year we had some students who did a lot of play-by-play and a lot of announcing, a lot of covering games. We're hoping just to kind of enhance what that does. So we'll still be doing a lot of the same sports. We've done volleyball already and soccer and football here in the fall. Then we'll go into the winter and spring sports. We would like to try to add a few sports to kind of push our students and test a little bit, sports that aren't traditionally streamed, maybe covered. And so those may be some of the new things. We also have some students who'd like to do some podcasts and things like that. But one of the focuses of this is to find other areas, whether it's graphics, whether it's replay, to get students in various areas of producing a live or studio event.
That's awesome. So are there any things to look forward to in the future of this?
We have a great group. We had a group of about 18 or 20 students who had an interest meeting at the beginning of the year. We've had a lot of those students get involved in shows like this, the Roar Rundown, but also our live events. So if any students are out there watching this and you may be interested, contact the Department of Communications. We'd be glad to fit you in.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Back to you.
That's all the sports news we have for you this week.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Roar Rundown and tune in next week for another episode.
Stay purple, Tiger Nation.